Alright, let's be honest with ourselves. You don't miss them. You miss being wanted. And I know that sounds really harsh because you're sitting there at 2 in the morning, rereading old messages, looking back at photos, listening to the playlist y'all made together. I get it. You've convinced yourself you made a huge mistake. It really, really feels like you miss them. But sometimes you don't. You miss somebody texting you good morning. Somebody that you can tell random shit throughout your day to. You miss cuddling, you miss having plans, you miss texting, you miss the commitment. And sometimes you miss the feeling of knowing somebody wanted you. But those are two very different things. Welcome back to Out Loud with Kennedy. I'm your host, K-Swizz. And the crowd goes wild. I know. I'm here all week. This episode's going to be a little different than the usual episodes. We're trying something a little different. We're going to talk about those uncomfortable little truths that nobody really wants to talk about out loud. I feel like a lot of us need to hear this one. Because I think we all have that moment after a breakup where we're always like, oh my gosh, I miss them so much. I can't do this. And then if we're completely honest to ourselves, do we really miss them? Or do we really just miss being loved by them? Let's dissect that. Let's start with the obvious. Breakups are weird because your brain is a liar. I'm sorry, but it just is. Because the second somebody is no longer available to you, suddenly your brain is like, let's make this a highlights. Let's just show all the good, none of the ugly. You don't remember the arguments, you don't remember the mean things that were said. You get the gist. You don't remember all the things that were like, I don't think I can do this anymore. You don't remember those. You just remember the good. Your brain's like, remember when they kissed your forehead? Remember when they said this? Remember when they bought you that? Remember when they brought you these? No, okay, we can't do that. But then you just remember all the things, like the way they said certain words, or the way they smelled, or, you know, just the cutie little things they did. And it's all like, oh my goodness, so cutie. I miss them. They're so good. No. Here's the thing. You can miss those things and not need the relationship back. You can be appreciative of what they provided for you without needing the relationship back, okay? You can miss the memories without needing the reality. But assuming because we miss someone, that means we need them back is incorrect. Missing someone doesn't mean that you made the wrong decision. Missing someone means you had an attachment to them. That's it. It does not mean you should go back. Sometimes it's okay to just miss someone. I think another thing that we don't talk about enough is how breakups are actually just grieving a routine. Because suddenly your entire day changes. You don't have those good morning texts. You don't have that consistency. You don't have that constant person that was in your life before. That silence is so nauseating because it's like, what? It's night and day difference. It's consumption to nothingness. It's night and day. It's the best way to put it. It makes you start thinking maybe you should have stayed. Maybe things weren't as bad as you thought they were. It's a dangerous place to get. Maybe you're just not used to being alone yet, and that's okay. Like, you have to be uncomfortable to grow. If you're lonely, the solution is not your ex. And I know a lot of y'all need to hear that. The solution might be just learning a new way to navigate your path by yourself. And that's okay. I know it's easier said than done because even I look for validation within relationships. And when I'm single, I feel as if I have no purpose. So I understand it's a hard mental battle because being wanted feels so good. I get it. When that relationship ends, you don't just lose that constant person in your life, you lose that validation, which might sound shitty, but it's true. You lose the constant validation, especially if you work like me. But that's where it gets really complicated. Do I really miss this person or do I miss being chosen by this person? Because sometimes we're not actually craving them. It's proof that we're attractive, proof that we're good enough, proof that we're lovable. You know what I mean? When somebody is constantly choosing you, it is easy to let their attention become evidence of your growth. They're texting you all day, they're complimenting you, they're gassing you up, they're doing all these things. It's like, yeah, that feels great. See, I'm worthy. Then they leave. You're like, what? Wait. Is that true? Come back, please, please, I'm back at me. You know? I think you need that exact person. You don't. It's hard though. I'm there. I'm with you. You're not necessarily sitting there thinking, I need this exact person. You're sitting there thinking, I want somebody to want me like that again. And that's okay. That's a human thought. That's natural to be wanted. We're human. We crave closeness. We crave intimacy. We crave connection. We want to feel special to somebody. The problem is when we start confusing being wanted with being loved well. Because somebody can desperately want you and they can treat you like shit. And that's not okay. Here's where I think we need to be really careful. Loneliness is persuasive. Like, very persuasive. Loneliness will have you thinking about somebody you haven't thought about in months. Laying in bed. It's 11:47 p.m. You're bored. You're scrolling TikTok. And you're suddenly like, I wonder what they're doing. It'll get you. Put your phone down. Put it on D&D. Put that bitch down. No, thank you. All of a sudden, you're looking at the girlfriend's Instagram. Looking at the reposts on your fake TikTok. Stupid, stupid, stupid. You don't need closure. You're bored. There's a difference. Let's not hurt ourselves like that, okay? Because we're not. We can't. We can't. And sometimes we mistake boredom and loneliness as missing somebody. And that's why it's important to ask yourself, if they texted me right now and wanted to get back together, would I actually want the relationship? Not this fantasy version, what they really sat on their silver plate and provided to you. When they say, this is what I can provide for you, do you want that? Or do you want the idea of them? Would you really want that person back? When you really sit down and think about that person and what they showed you they can give to you, do you really want that person back? Or do you want what you created in your head? I'm there too. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? Because if the answer is no, maybe you don't miss them. Maybe you just miss being loved. Maybe you miss the connection. Maybe you just miss having a connection. Maybe you miss who you were when you were with them. That's not necessarily the same thing though, babes. You can miss someone and still choose yourself. We want healing to be so clean. I want to wake up one morning and be like, I don't care anymore. And that's how I expected myself to grieve. I expected myself to wake up and not care anymore. That's not how it works. Sometimes healing still looks like thinking about them, missing them, looking at old pictures, listening to the playlist, but then also saying I'm not going back is also healing. You don't need to hate someone to move on to them. You don't need to make them hurt the way they made you hurt to move on from them. You can sit there and say that you're appreciative for what was that relationship showed you or what that relationship gave you. You can be happy you got to experience that and not go back. But honestly, I think that's a much healthier way to look at relationships because people aren't always villains. Sometimes two people love each other and still aren't good for each other. Sometimes somebody can be important to you without being somebody that you're supposed to keep. And sometimes the person you miss is the person you have to continue missing from a distance. The hardest part is learning to feel wanted within yourself than having somebody prove that to you. Prove that to you. Because imagine being able to wake up and not need a text to feel worth enough. Imagine having a bad day and immediately thinking, I need somebody. But imagine if your response was, I am still lovable even when no one is actively choosing me. That's fucking powerful. I'm not saying you shouldn't want a relationship because duh, we're humans. I love love. I love romance. I love love. I love people being in love. I love seeing people kiss. Okay. Please kiss. I love having somebody. I love being in a relationship. So that's not what I'm saying. I think it's beautiful to be deeply known by another human. I don't want us to get to a point where it feels like being single means being rejected or not good enough. Because it isn't. It's simply not. Being single doesn't mean nobody wants you. Being single doesn't mean nobody chooses you. Being single doesn't mean you're not good enough. Being alone doesn't mean you're unloved. Sometimes you just haven't met the person because you're still crafting the life that they were meant to come into. Sometimes you're supposed to be building your life without having someone in it. If you're listening to this and you're thinking about someone right now, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Do I miss them? Or do I miss being wanted by them? Do you miss that person? Or do you miss the attention? Do you miss the relationship? Or do you miss the routine? Do you miss who they actually were? Or do you just miss who you thought they would become? Or do you just want somebody to choose you again? Do you want them back? And if your answer is the second one, that is completely okay. I understand that. I've been there too. I get it. There's nothing embarrassing about that. And once you know what you're actually grieving, you can start healing from it. You can't heal insecurity by chasing validation from the person who triggered it. And you can't find yourself by constantly trying to be found by somebody else. So maybe you don't miss them. Maybe you just miss being wanted by them. Maybe you miss having somebody. Maybe you miss the version of yourself when somebody was choosing you, and that is okay. Eventually, you will get to a point where you won't need somebody else choosing you to prove to yourself that you're worth being chosen. And when you get there, that's when relationships become choice rather than necessity. You don't need someone to complete you. You don't need someone to prove you're beautiful. You don't need someone to prove you're lovable. You don't need someone to validate that you're worth staying for. You get to decide that for yourself. And if someone comes along the way and loves you, let them. Don't confuse being wanted with being loved well, because you deserve both. And until then, don't text your ex. Put the phone down, drink some water. Okay, cool down. Regulate your nervous system before you do that. Because sometimes you don't miss them. And that's okay.